All right, so I've had many requests on how do I make my bread. This is just gonna be a short, quick video of how I do it. First things first, I take 1 3/4 cup of water. I put it in a microwave for 30 to 40 seconds just to get it kind of like room temperature because it's cold coming from my fridge. Pour it in a bowl. Then I'm gonna add active dry yeast. I'm gonna put in a teaspoon. Sprinkle it in. And then you don't have to do anything from here. You could literally just start adding in your flour and stuff. But I like to add in just a little honey just to give the yeast something to get started on. This is my honey from my beehive. Some people will add just like a tiny teaspoon of sugar. I just do a little bit of honey, or you really don't need anything, to be honest with you. So now we'll let that sit for probably 5 to 10 minutes, and then we will start back up. All right, it's probably been 5 or 10 minutes now. Just give it a quick stir, and then we'll add in our flour. So we have 1 3/4 cup of water, teaspoon of yeast, and just a little bit of honey to get the yeast going. Now I'm gonna add in 3.5 cups of flour. And I don't get all crazy with it and like level it off. I just get a scoop and just do it. Alana's helping me. Oh, go ahead. That's fine. And we'll add in a half. All right. Now, there's one key ingredient that you cannot forget to put in your bread. Because if you do, it will taste like garbage. Secret ingredient?
Salt.
Salt. If you don't put salt in your bread, it's going to taste horrible. It's going to taste bland and not good at all. So I do 2 teaspoons. And then I also, in my bread, I like to add in garlic powder. And I don't measure this stuff out. I just put as much as I would like. And I also put in crushed rosemary. And then after I get the bread all incorporated together, then, when I get into a dough ball later on, I'll add olive oil to the outside and knead it in so it doesn't stick as much. And so basically it's an olive oil, garlic, rosemary bread. But it goes good with anything. So then I just stir it up. You can use whatever you want. I prefer using these, stainless steel forks just because it was already used in the process and it's easy to scrape it off of the stainless steel back into the bowl. Or, you can take like a butter knife or the spoon and they don't really stick to one another. So that's kind of a little pro tip. But anyways, let's just get it incorporated and then we'll let it sit for 30 minutes. Come back, check it, kind of mix it around a little bit more, and then we'll let it sit for a few hours. And then we'll check back in. and we will get the baking portion done. So that's it. Now we'll just throw a rag over it and we'll let it sit for 30 minutes, come back, check it, move it around a little bit, make it into more of a ball, and then we'll let it sit for a few hours and let it rise and do its thing. So we'll check back shortly. All right, so it's been about an hour. You can see that it's risen. I'm just gonna wet my hand real quick and then make it into a nice little ball. And then we'll add a little bit of olive oil. So I just peel it from the edges, turn it in on itself like this. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit of olive oil to the outside in the bowl so it doesn't stick so much. And then we'll let it rise again, and then probably, in an hour or two, we'll start preheating the oven and get it formed and get it in the oven. All right, now that's risen for a few hours, we're gonna take the Dutch oven here without the lid on, and we're gonna pop it in the oven on 450. And once the oven comes up to temperature, we'll put some parchment paper in there, drop the formed dough ball into it, and then bake it for 30 minutes with the lid on. All right, so now that we have the Dutch oven in the oven preheating on 450, I took my dough ball out and just, wetted my hands and with the water from the sink, and then formed it and set it on here. And as it sits here, it's gonna rise while the oven is coming to temp. So you'll get your rise back out of it, and then you just pick up the parchment paper and drop it right into the Dutch oven and bake it. All right, now that we got our dough ready, we put our slices in it. We're gonna add it to the smoking hot pan, or excuse me, Dutch oven, like so. Let it flop in there, put your lid on, and bake it for 30 minutes, no peeking. All right, so it's been about 25 minutes, and I'm going to now go into the oven, take the lid off, and then continue baking it for another 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how done I want it, how brown I want the outside. So let's get in there and check it out. All right, so we removed the lid. We'll let it sit in there for another 10 to 15 minutes, and we'll check on it again. All right, so it's been 15 minutes with the lid off, and this is what we got. So, hope this helps you make some good bread of your own. Thanks for watching.